Sige, yan na. Thank you very much. Okay. Siguro maganda gawin kita minsan na we call this co-host para pag nakalimutan na. Okay, so I have the figure shown here. So those are the points given in the problem, and with the help of an app, I am able to fit a circle into them and locate the center E as well, though the coordinates are not shown. Okay, it may seem that the center has exact coordinates, but actually the coordinates are fractional. So we will have to solve using algebra with some help of a geometric theorem or a theorem in geometry, which states that the chord of a circle or a chord of a circle is related to its center by its perpendicular bisector. So if I consider, let's say, a chord here, the chord passing through A and B. By the way, a chord is any line segment whose endpoints are on the circle. So this is a chord there, as long as its endpoints are on the circle. And the longest chord or a longest chord is called a diameter. Now, how does a chord of a circle relate to its center? If you try to draw its perpendicular bisector, meaning the line bisecting it perpendicular to it, that is the one passing through its midpoint, that bisector will pass through the center of the circle. And that's true for any chord. So if we can get the equation of that line there, then at least we can get a relationship between the coordinates of the center. Meaning we have an equation set up and we just need another one. So can you tell me how to set up a system of equations, two equations into unknowns here using that idea? Anyone? Is it possible first to get the equation of the blue line there? That was taught in a asynchronous lecture. How do you get the perpendicular bisector, by the way? Anyone? What do you have to find first?
Sir, the midpoint, then you get the inverse of the slope, the negative inverse of the slope.
Okay, the negative reciprocal of the slope of chord AB. Since chord AB is perpendicular to the blue line there, we just get the slope of AB, right? Which we can do by using the coordinates of the points A and B. Then negative reciprocal to get the slope of the blue one. And we can also get this point, the midpoint, using the midpoint formula. In other words, we can get the equation of the perpendicular rather easily. Now, that's not enough. What else do we need to do? As already hinted. Anyone? Okay, kunin muna natin siguro yung equation niya, no? Para ma-review na rin natin. So first, let's get the midpoint. This one here. Using the midpoint formula, so A has coordinates 0, 0, B, 2, 4. So we add the x coordinates, divide by 2, add the y coordinates, divide by 2. So we get 1, 2 as the midpoint of AB. And then next we get the slope of the bisector there by first getting the slope of AB. Yun na nga, no? Yung AB. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1 gives us 2 as the slope of AB. This one here. The orange segment there. That has slope 2. Therefore, take the negative reciprocal, you get the slope of this one as negative 1/2. And once you have the slope and a point on the line, you use the point slope form, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, with this as x1, y1. Then you write in the form y equals mx plus b. And so we have the equation of that perpendicular bisector. Okay, that's one. So as you may have already seen in the figure just shown a while ago, what else do we need to solve or to find the center? Anyone? Do another one. Okay, the perpendicular bisector of any chord of a circle passes through the center of the circle. So if we can have two such, okay, then we get their intersection. So for instance, let's consider chord AC. Okay, and draw its perpendicular bisector. According to geometry, the perpendicular bisector of any chord passes through the center. Now, this is not necessarily 90 degrees, okay? So we get another one, we get the equation of this one, and then set up a system. And then we just repeat what we did for the previous bisector. So AC, this time AC, with coordinates 0, 0, and 6, negative 2. Get the midpoint of that. So we have 3, negative 1. And then slope. Get the slope of the green line using AC again. This one and this one. Change in Y, change in X. Gives you negative 1/3. for the green one. So you get the negative reciprocal of that for the slope of this one. So this one has slope 3. Negative reciprocal of this. So you have the slope, you have a point on that line, then we write its equation using point slope form. We have y plus 1 using this one equals 3 times x minus 3. Or y equals 3x minus 10. And that's this one here. So what do we have? 2 lines passing through the center of the circle. Now we only have the equations of the 2 lines, so we must solve for their point of intersection, and that is by solving the resulting system given by their equations. And this is not hard to solve since all you have to do is equate the two, since they are both solved for y. And then to solve this one, you can multiply by 2. Okay, so what do you have? X equals 25 over 7. And so it remains to just find the y coordinate. You can use either of the two equations here to solve for the y value. Just use the simpler one, y equals 3x minus 10. Substitute this one here. And verify that you have 5 over 7. I think your calculator should be able to write your answer in fractional form, either in proper form or in improper form. Just have to select the proper mode. In other words, after you have done all these procedures, you will eventually get the coordinates of the center. 25 over 7. 1 over 7. Is there any questions so far before we find the radius? So to recap, what we did was just get the perpendicular bisectors. That's the key idea here. Okay, consider a chord. Get the perpendicular bisector, it passes through the center. Consider another chord, get the perpendicular bisector. Okay, get their equations, solve for their point of intersection. And then, if done correctly, you should get the coordinates there. 25 over 7, 5 over 7. Now, we're not yet done. We still need the radius, but that's the easy part, assuming you get the center correctly. Now, the radius is fixed, so you can use any point of the circle to get the length of the radius. Either B or C, but the easiest one to use is A, since it has 0, 0 as coordinates. Anyway, you'll get the same result. So radius is square root of 25 over 7 minus 0 squared plus 5 over 7 minus 0 squared. Leave this one for your calculator to work on. Get that. Then you just square. Because you are to, if this is the one asked, you are to write it in center radius form. Of course, if you are just asked for the center, then you're done here already. For the radius, then you're done here already. But if the equation is asked, then you have to square the radius. This is the center. So finally, x minus 25 over 7 squared plus y minus 5 over 7 squared equals 650 over 49. Okay, so any question on this? Okay, who has a question now? Okay, graded exercise 1B, question number 1. Which question number 1? Kasi may set yan eh. Yung may isosceles ba? Ms. Reyes? Are you there? Ms. Reyes? With the points 1, 3. Okay, it's the second one there. Okay, find the coordinates of a point P which is on the line segment joining the points A1, 3. P6, 2. It is 3 times as far from B as it is from A. So it's not nearer to A, farther to B. Okay. 3 times, okay, PA is the distance of P from A, P is the distance of P from B. So it states that it is 3 times as far from B as it is from A. Three times as far from B as it is from A. Correct? You just have to get the midpoint of the midpoint actually if you try to analyze the problem. it will turn out that this one is 3 times. 1, 2, 3, as this. So you'll be dividing it into 4 equal parts, right? So to get P, you get the midpoint first, A and B. If I'm not mistaken with the calculations, okay? And then the midpoint of the midpoint, I mean the midpoint of AM. For these. Okay, anyone else has a question regarding the quiz on Friday? By the way, when you write your answers, you need not put spaces in between your symbols, like your numerals, your delimiters. For example, suppose your answer is negative infinity to 2, union 1, infinity. You just use the proper delimiters and then follow the directions given. So for infinity, right, use in. And then do not put a space between your parentheses and the negative sign there. And with the comma, and so after the comma, and after and before every symbol. And then as also stated in the graded exercises, use a comma to separate intervals if they are part of a union. No space, again, no space. Then no need to put a plus. Don't put a plus here, right? No need to put a plus for INF. Although I will be checking manually, but it is to your advantage if you do write it this way so that you already get the allotted points, okay, for that particular item. Okay, clear tayo doon, ha? Anything else? Anyone else has a question? Nana? Otherwise, I will be ending the session. Okay, so there are none, then that's it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
Sir.